ISFPs have on socianics a beneficial relationship to INFJs. So, generally, and we're talking about experiences here, my personal experiences. I'm not by any means saying that this is how it goes all the time or with everyone, but my personal experiences have been that the men have been favorably disposed towards me and the women basically don't like me to begin with and just ignore me. So this was a guy, he was favorably disposed towards me. I saw a video about ISFPs, and I want to clarify that this is talking about degrees, because you're probably going to be like, oh, it's just dumb, like all guys are like that. But I saw a video by an ISFP, and just like, if you just have a clean, neat appearance, that is like a major part of what like they're looking for in women, that kind of thing. So yeah, INFJs are always in that category. So anyway, this guy could feel that he had a personality advantage going on there, and that he was a benefit to me, and he was, you know, pretty happy about that that feeling. And so in addition to that, they can kind of have a little bit of a condescending attitude because of that dynamic that's going on there. And anywho, so I really like it when there's some kind of interaction with someone that is just a limited time of interaction, because then you can kind of experiment and stuff. It's not something that's going to have lasting effects, and you can learn and study, you know, a lot about a type. So anyway, as we went along, I discovered like he was just thinking that I was just making these decisions like randomly, and I was an idiot or something, you know. And so I had to learn to start talking my logic, saying my logic out loud, so he could see that I wasn't just, you know what I mean? I actually had some kind of logic, and I was trying to figure this thing out, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and the first time I had to return it, he was like, well, I won't charge you the return fee this time, but if you do it again, you know, and I'm like, so, anyway, then after that, when we got to the third one, we were sitting there, and he was doing the paperwork, and I'm just gonna say, okay, if you're an INFJ meeting an ISFP, there's a couple of things that are going to be taking place. One, like I said, well, they're FI. Generally, an INFJ is not going to be talking about their feelings and their opinions and that kind of thing right when they meet somebody. We're just not like that. And they put TI out there as a their thing of like being friendly, or, you know, protecting themselves, all these things. It's their eighth function. They don't really value it as their eighth in order of preference, but that's what. So you can do small talk and stuff of facts and stuff with an ISFP, but don't really go into, well, yes, but because it really depends on the person. But I've heard my mom, who is an INFP, talking with her hairdresser that's an ISFP, and they'll be talking about facts, and they both will just do this thing of a general statement about something, which, you know, generally speaking, you can't do a general statement about very many things, and you're like, yes, technically, but actually, you're thinking that and you want to say it, but I don't. But I mean, my TI is not really whatever, but theirs is only okay. So and it really depends on the individual also, because I know my mom is a 4-wing 5, but I know an INFP that's a 5-wing 4, and you can get into all that, you know, with her. So I mean, it is an individual thing, but they are only okay, generally speaking, on their TI. So anyway, they're looking for the authenticity. I'm not going to talk about my FI when I first meet somebody. I'm not probably even going to talk about facts and stuff when I first meet them, because I feel like I'm like trying to, you know, try to impress somebody or something like that, right? And their SE, we are putting our SI out there, and believe me, you really feel it strongly that you're trying to be really polite, even more polite than normal with an ISFP, you just do feel that pressure because of that socionics and thing going on. But this is a really bad idea. Do not go too far in that direction. In fact, be a little bit borderline rude if you can, because the SE is their second function, and SE thinks that SI is like a weakness or whatever. So, you know, if you're putting yourself forward too far in that, you're kind of misrepresenting yourself to them, and they're not. It's going to be hard for them to interact with you. And then if you have your SI, they have SI also for their sixth function. So possibly their entire personality is based upon the SI. So if you are like really trying too hard on that and you're only okay at it, they can see that you're only okay at it and how badly you're doing it and that you're trying too hard or whatever. So on 2 counts, 3 counts, you're out. 1, you're not being authentic. 2, it's the SI, which you know, their preferred function is SE. And 3, the SI, they are SI, and so they see what a fake you're being. And so it's just a bad idea. So when I was sitting there for the third one, you know, usually I'm like looking around and you know. But I had been trying really hard to be seem respectful or whatever, you know. And so I was looking straight ahead the other times, and this time I kind of let it show that I was looking around and stuff. And you know, read the sign about how much fecal matter accumulates on an old mattress, you know, whatever is available to read, just to occupy myself, you know. And anyway, he saw that I was doing that, like, wasn't doing it openly, but you know, I let it tell you openly, but I let it show that I was looking around and stuff. And he like relaxed and opened up right away, you know, when I did that. Like, he was like, "Oh, you're from there? My wife is too," and la 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 la. And then I guess we were talking about big cities and little cities and all that stuff, and I was saying that I kind of like the big cities, being near big cities, because, you know, it's more interesting. You can listen to radio stations from different, you know, in different languages and stuff like that. To me, it's not the thing of that I understand it or not. It's just, it just kind of relaxes me to hear another language or to listen to something that I don't understand. Of course, you get to hear the music from all different places and stuff too. But I mean, obviously, I like listening to things I can understand also. But yeah. Anyway, that got him. I had to be authentic, and that is actually what I was thinking. So I just said it, and I mean, I thought it was kind of funny because I know that he's gonna take it in light of that I'm playing an SE game and trying to beat him, which was funny. And I was like, you know, because he's an ISFP and he had the beneficial whatever. But like, I didn't do it for that reason, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, I thought it was funny. But anyway, so yeah, do not go into SI too much with an ISFP. Let's see from my notes what we have here. If you are looking for the type that is beneficial to you, what you do is you go to your sixth function. I've said before, you have to express your sixth function, and sure enough, the type that is beneficial to you has that sixth function as their first function. So you see ours is FI, the ISPs have FI, and then for the slots in the middle, that is going to be your first and your fourth function. So they're going to have more control and be more steady in those. Then when you look for the one that is supervisory to you, it's going to be your seventh function, which is, you know, your weak function, for the first function. And then again, the first and fourth are going to be in the middle there. So ISFPs are very different if they don't know you from the perspective of an INFJ. As I said before, like, I know some ISFJs are like, you know, my mom's hairdresser, she's heard all about me because my mom tells everyone all about us. And like, I have a relative that's an ISFP. Different ISFPs, if they know that like I'm an artist or I've acted on, you know, what I'm interested in, and you know, this sort of thing, things that are not going to come out if you don't know somebody. But these are the things that are important, you know, to an ISFP, and then, you know, there's no problem. But if they don't know you, then you can have other things come in. As I said, like, the ISFP women will kind of like maybe ignore me, or I'll feel like maybe they're kind of threatened by me. And my natural inclination with that is to ramp up my FE, which is a huge mistake. They will absolutely hate you if you ramp up your FE. They are doing good if they can tolerate your FE at all to begin with. I just tend to do that with women. So what do? Just go to the TI and just go just talking generally about some different facts and stuff. I was just in a restaurant actually recently with a friend, and there was a waiter that I later figured out was ISFP, and I think I kind of sensed it at the time. I was concentrating on other things, but she's like, he has an attitude, you know. And then I just like started talking about facts and all this stuff and everything with my friend, and then he was fine. So yeah, the TI is I've heard this said about, there's a lot of things that I look at with different types, you know, to type them, and it's interesting. Like, you're always learning things. Like, I recently noticed that ISFJs kind of look a little bit like ESTPs, and yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, and after I thought about it and stuff, I could explain it. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense and stuff. I never noticed it. You know, you're always noticing different things. But anyway, one of the things, and there's like a whole myriad of things that you know, you look at. But one of the things with the ISFPs is like, well, can you imagine them with those little curly Q feathers like some birds have? And to me, that is just kind of ISFP-ish. I actually heard somebody say that about INFJs, so I guess it's just probably a personal association thing. I never think that about INFJs when I see them. Let's see what else we had here. If there's anything that I forgot.